Ripple Coin, XRP and Cryptocurrency In-Depth Analysis. Written by Giles Reeves. Narrated by Sherry Gardner. Introduction to Ripple. Ripple is a real-time gross settlement system, RTGS, currency exchange and remittance network by Ripple. Also called the Ripple Transaction Protocol, RTXP, or Ripple Protocol, it is built upon a distributed open-source Internet protocol, consensus ledger, and native cryptocurrency called XRP, Ripples. Released in 2012, Ripple purports to enable secure, instantly and nearly free global financial transactions of any size with no chargebacks. It supports tokens representing fiat currency, cryptocurrency, commodity, or any other unit of value such as frequent flyer miles or mobile minutes. At its core, Ripple is based around a shared public database or ledger, which uses a consensus process that allows for payments, exchanges, and remittance in a distributed process. The network can operate without the Ripple company. Among validators are companies, Internet service providers, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The fast money transfer network, Ripple, and its associated coin, XRP, have been enjoying steady acceptance and growth over the 5 years since their inception. Here's why. When talking about Ripple, XRP, people often overlook the product that caused it to exist, the Ripple network. Unfortunately, even though it's been accepted by several banks as a legitimate money transfer system, the platform is a bit more complex to figure out than your regular cryptocurrency. So we're going to go through it and explain every piece along the way. 3 reasons to invest in Ripple. Digital currencies have emerged as one of the most profitable investments of 2017. You don't have to take our word for it. Just take a look at the returns. Ethereum is up 2,000%. Bitcoin is up 744,233%. Litecoin is up 750%. With the digital currency floodgates open, early investors are becoming accustomed to 4-digit returns. But there's a catch. Many of the currencies listed above have already achieved mainstream investors. They will continue to generate profits, making them valid investments, but you will never be able to buy them for under $1. Many digital currency investors are hunting for the next big altcoin, hoping to find a new Bitcoin for the right price. And the best contender is Ripple. In the last year alone, Ripple is up 3,733%. Ripple is not your traditional digital currency. Calling it one is the equivalent of calling a horse a mule. You vastly undersell the currency's potential. Today, Ripple is busy revolutionizing the way we transfer money and receive payments. Soon it will change the way we bank and conduct business around the globe. Over the course of this report, we are going to educate you on Ripple's potential and expose the top 3 reasons you need to be investing now. By the end of this report, we hope that you'll rush to the exchanges. More about Ripple. Ripple, in the simplest sense, is a real-time payment system. It allows money to be exchanged between individuals regardless of their locations or their banks. The digital asset that runs the Ripple network is XRP. When you buy Ripple, you are also purchasing XRP. If you are new to digital currency investing, the best way to think of XRP is as the fuel that powers Ripple. It is necessary for the technology's function, but when investing, you will generally refer to XRP as Ripple. Ripple was introduced in 2012, making it an early mover in the digital currency space. It was also one of the first currencies to have a function outside of being a medium for exchange. Ripple was developed by an experienced team with deep roots in the digital currency world. Many members of this development team worked with Bitcoin. This included Ripple's co-founders, OpenCoin CEO Chris Larson and CTO Jed McCaleb. Investors considering Ripple need to understand the relationship between OpenCoin and currency. OpenCoin handles many of our digital currency transactions around the world. OpenCoin, and subsequently Ripple, has received backing from dozens of venture capitalists, including Anderson Horowitz, FF Angel 4, Lightspeed Venture Partners, Vast Ventures, and Bitcoin Opportunity Fund. But how does Ripple function? How exactly is it unique in the digital currency world? Those questions transition us to the first reason that you should be investing in Ripple: the Interledger Protocol. The Interledger Protocol. Everyone is in agreement that our current financial system is flawed. Transferring money to individuals outside of your bank is a grueling process, and you might as well forget about exchanging money overseas unless you love having a headache. And that is where Ripple comes in. Ripple operates something called an Interledger Protocol. This is a use of blockchain technology that makes Ripple unique. Believe it or not, the idea behind the Interledger Protocol is actually thousands of years old, dating back to medieval Arabia. Years ago, individuals would exchange money through an agent. You, as an individual, would walk up to your agent and give him money with instructions to send it to your friend. This agent would then send it to the agent of your friend. Even though money didn't exchange hands on either end, a record of the money being moved was put in place. The receiving person's agent would be responsible for moving the money along to the intended recipient. Ripple simplifies that process, issuing a monetary payment through a digital channel. Similar to the medieval method, the money never actually changes hands. Both people have access to a secure channel, boxing out any potential threat. This makes Ripple an incredibly effective, secure monetary exchange that empowers individuals. And Ripple's developers have more in mind for Ripple's exchange potential than just money. Ripple could be used to exchange anything, simply through the creation of a secure pathway. This unique function makes it a powerhouse in the digital currency world. And even though this method directly empowers the individual, it is also a profit generator for large corporations. This brings us to the second reason you should be investing now. Ripple is a best friend to banks. I think it would be foolish to think that our banking system will disappear overnight. This belief is popular in the Bitcoin crowd, with many devoted Bitcoin believers asserting that the world's first digital currency has the power to rebuild our financial system in mere years. The reality is different. There is no doubt that digital currency is here to stay, but we are more likely to see it incorporated into our everyday financial lives through large players in the financial world, big banks. This is good news for Ripple, and a strong case for investing in it. Ripple has already been adopted by dozens of banks. 10 more just signed on in April. MUFG, BBVA, SEB, ACBank, Axis Bank, Yes Bank, SBI Remit, Cambridge Global Payments, Star One Credit Union, Easy Forex. This makes Ripple the first digital currency to be adopted by mainstream financial institutions. It's only picking up momentum. Why do the banks want Ripple? As always, it goes back to money and the Ripple Interledger's ability to make a lot of it. Let's be honest. No major financial institution adopts a technology for the ease of the customer. They do it to make money. That is the nature of the beast. Currently, if a bank is using Ripple, it saves $3.76 per payment. That is a cumulative saving of $564,000 a year. But the greed of financial institutions pays off for customers, who will be able to exchange money across borders and with individuals using different banks. We can expect to see surges in Ripple's value once more transactions start taking place between separate banks. We are likely to see this in 2017. This will simplify our financial system. You will be able to send money to anyone, regardless of what bank they have, through the same simple channels. The investors and the team. We touched briefly on Ripple's talented development team in the introduction. Now it is time to expand on what that extensive talent network means for the digital currency in the long term. It's no secret that success in the corporate world depends on one thing: clout. For any technology to advance, it has to establish its value for both investors and corporations. Many digital currencies fail to do this because their leadership doesn't know the right people or methods. For Ripple, establishing itself was as easy as pie. With two well-connected founders using their complex networks, Ripple quickly attracted venture capital and major investors. In 2015, Ripple raked in $55 million in venture capital in just one funding round. And this money keeps pouring in, with more big investors backing the company weekly. One particular investor is worth taking note of. It is a tech giant that hasn't shown a lot of interest in the bulk of digital currencies: Google. Google was one of Ripple's early backers. Both the mega giant and its peer Apple prefer the blockchain method of payment to existing credit cards. In Ripple, Google saw an opportunity to simplify and secure payments. It knows a good investment when it sees one. And so do the other venture capitalists pouring money into Ripple. The names backing Ripple: Andreessen Horowitz, FF Angel 4, and Lightspeed Venture have stood behind dozens of lucrative startups including Airbnb, Asana, BuzzFeed, Coinbase, Facebook, Twitter, and Snap. How to start investing. I'm going to level with you. Ripple is a bit harder to invest in than its peers. But since you are serious about making money, this is a good thing. Ripple's exclusivity means that not everyone is in on it yet. At Wealth Daily, we use Coinbase for the bulk of our digital currency investments. Coinbase allows users to buy Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Ethereum with hopes of expanding to other digital currencies in the future. Ripple could be on the horizon. We don't want you to wait until then, so we are going to walk you through buying Ripple on smaller exchanges. That way you can get the currency while it is under $1. The two most popular currency exchanges for investing in Ripple are Poloniex and Kraken. On both platforms, you can exchange Bitcoins for Ripples. Many people choose to set up a Coinbase account and then transfer Bitcoin into Kraken or Poloniex. To do this, set up a Coinbase account. Once you create a username and password, add your banking information and make a Bitcoin purchase. Keep in mind that you can use your Coinbase account for more than just Bitcoin. It is a gateway account that will allow you to purchase Ethereum and Litecoin. You can easily explore both of those currencies in additional reports on our resource page. Now, set up your Kraken or Poloniex account. Transfer Bitcoins into your chosen platform, and you can start buying. With Coinbase, you may have to wait a few days for the purchased Bitcoins to arrive into your account. As you venture deeper into digital currency, it will prove effective to keep Bitcoins on hand. Most altcoins can be purchased with Bitcoins. As things stand, Ripple could be one of the best investments in the digital currency space. It has unmatched potential in the financial world and a legion of support from both megacorporations and the tech community. It isn't going anywhere. but its $1 price will quickly become history. Can Ripple XRP overtake Bitcoin BTC? Bitcoin's trajectory of the last year has been nothing short of incredible. The continued record highs have attracted the attention of the media, the public, governments, banks, and many more. As more and more cryptocurrency millionaires popped up, more investors wanted a piece of the action, until we found ourselves in the midst of a massive crypto hype. However, it's not just Bitcoin that captured the attention of millions around the world. Ripple quietly grew to prominence until a few weeks ago, when it spiked with over 36,000%, more than doubled in its price, and quickly became one of the new darlings of the crypto world. Ripple's boom followed shortly after several international banks, as well as Korean and Japanese credit card firms, stated that they would use Ripple technology to pilot test projects. At the time of writing, Ripple, XRP, is worth an average of $2.20, and it is available on several major cryptocurrency exchange platforms. Granted, it pales in comparison with Bitcoin's price of $13,800 per BTC, but it's not so shabby when considering that Ripple grew from a humble 0.006 cents just a year ago. In addition, the cryptocurrency sheer supply has ensured that it is currently the world's second most lucrative cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is a virtual currency that is underpinned by a larger blockchain network. Similarly, the Ripple has its own payment network that is referred to as XRP, although even the most avid of Ripple advocates simply call it Ripple. Ripple is also underpinned by a larger blockchain network, which consists of several technological processes that ensure that all transactions are recorded securely online. This underlying blockchain network is widely considered to be the future of payment systems. However, this is where most similarities between the two end. Ripple was established in 2012, but initially it was not designed to act as a form of payment. Instead, the network was created to verify and record assets, including its own virtual currency, XRP. Bitcoin was designed to be a decentralized peer-to-peer monetary system, where community members gave their own computer processing powers to verify and create new blocks and mine new Bitcoin, and as a reward received Bitcoin proportional to their efforts. In contrast, the Ripple was established with a ready limited amount of 99 billion XRP ready for distribution, which could be either traded or used as a means to navigate between other assets, which would allow users to evade transaction fees. Quicker than Bitcoin. The team behind Ripple have previously stated that their network has several advantages over the Bitcoin Core network. Most significantly is that the Ripple network offers much quicker and cheaper transactions. The average transaction conducted on the Ripple network takes about 3 seconds and costs 1/1,000,000th of XRP. In addition, Bitcoin has lost utility due to its exorbitant transaction fees and times. However, the Ripple network has encouraged interesting partnerships with traditional financial institutions such as UBS, American Express, and Santander, as the Ripple network has the potential to be used practically in foreign exchange situations. Ripple has a novel system compared to the majority of cryptocurrencies, which has earned it the title of being one of the most scalable and fastest cryptocurrencies available. While Bitcoin was created with an ideology to move away from traditional banking systems, the Ripple was designed to be compliant with banks and their networks. This is enhanced by the Ripple network's sheer transaction processing capabilities. At the moment, The Ripple network can process up to 1,500 transactions per second, while Bitcoin can process only 10. However, both networks are underpinned by powerful blockchain technology. This refers to the system that is responsible for recording all transactions made on the network, like a digital ledger, but also for encrypting transactions. While Bitcoin utilizes its vast community of miners to verify transactions and mine new Bitcoin, the Ripple network is mainly controlled by its startup. However, since expanding, they have started to utilize third parties to aid in verifying transactions. This system has allowed for increased stability on the Ripple network. The company stated in a recent blog post that they were planning on shifting from single-handedly managing their own nodes to employing trusted third parties to perform this service instead. While some cryptocurrency advocates feel that Ripple's system is still too centralized, Ripple responded by locking their remaining cryptocurrency holdings in an encrypted account and now only releases a limited amount per month. What causes the Ripple price rise? The Ripple price has grown immensely in the last few weeks. At the start of December 2017, XRP stood at 25 cents, reached $1 at the start of January, and has since grown to $2.20. This sharp price increase is considered to have come about due to investors cashing in their Bitcoin to invest in other cryptocurrencies. This accounts for the fact that the Ripple price has continued to grow despite the fact that the Bitcoin price has decreased. In addition, the price boost has likely been encouraged by the fact that several major Japanese credit card companies announced that they would be conducting test pilots using Ripple for projects that include international payments. Ripple is also significantly cheaper than Bitcoin, which makes it an easier investment. At the moment, there are 28 billion Ripples in circulation compared to Bitcoin's 16.7 million. Ripple boasts a total market cap of just over $90 billion, which makes it the world's second biggest cryptocurrency, second only to Bitcoin. Reasons why the Ripple, XRP, price will normally surge in the face of crypto market corrections. December has been a banner month for XRP, the native asset of Ripple. The first surge took place December 12th to 13th, wherein Ripple leapt 84%, from 27 cents to 51 cents. In the days that followed, it grew again, finding a resistance barrier around the 75-cent mark. Then yesterday, Ripple shot for the moon again, surging 64% in 17 hours past the $1 milestone, progressing all the way to $1.37. Pretty astounding for a coin that began December trading at 24 cents. A little over $1 might not immediately sound like a huge change, but that's well over 400% growth in 1 month. Though we witnessed a major drop-off yesterday, wherein the overall cryptocurrency market cap dropped by as much as 20%, Ripple has been hit proportionately less than others, remaining above its yesterday mark. So what's causing this explosion in price? Here are 5 reasons. Number 1, rise of the altcoins. Late November 2017 saw Bitcoin crack $10,000. And shortly thereafter, the announcements of Bitcoin futures trading on CBOE and CME. The attention that ensued, both from the media and mainstream, has been unprecedented in the world cryptocurrency, drawing hordes of newcomers to the space. Many of these newcomers begin their crypto journey on popular brokerage Coinbase. More on this in a minute. For most of December, Coinbase only supported 3 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, BTC, Ethereum, ETH, and Litecoin, LTC. Of those three, most investment has traditionally poured into BTC and ETH, but early this month, we saw consumers graduate to Litecoin, causing several major jumps, peaking at $390 before coming to rest around $320. Now that Litecoin has hit its initial resistance barrier, the natural impact has been that motivated participants have sought new avenues for investment. This has precipitated wild growth among many different cryptocurrencies, including Tron, TRX, Cardano, ADA, Stellar, XLM, Bitcoin Cash, BCH, Qtum, Verge, XVG, and Redcoin, RDD, among many others, bringing the overall cryptocurrency market cap to a record high of $611 billion before the Bitcoin drop-off we saw yesterday, which brought it back to $508 billion at the time of this writing. As one of the oldest, most established, and time-tested cryptocurrencies, it's no surprise that investors turn to it early in their crypto investing. Number 2. Partnerships and media. As a team of finance, technology, and fintech veterans, Ripple has demonstrated a clear understanding that an emphasis on partnerships and customer acquisition is an invaluable way for emerging technology companies to thrive. Ripple now has over 75 commercially deploying customers and over 100 currently on their roster. But more than just establishing a customer base, Ripple has used strategic partnerships to generate buzz. For instance, the recently announced partnership with American Express was many Americans' first encounter with Ripple and immediately situated the brand as a reliable financial service rather than a weird or intimidated new technology. While these efforts have generated organic press, Ripple is also clearly doubling down on its media effort, with coverage ramping up over the past month. More notably, last week the San Francisco company hired Tom Chanik, the former corporate communications manager for Facebook's Advertising and Business Integrity Unit, as its head of communications. Number 3. Asia. Asia plays a key role in this strategy. As Ken Raposa pointed out, Asians are going mad for Ripple. This is not an unfounded claim. Last year, Ripple partnered with SBI Holdings to launch SBI Ripple Asia to serve markets in China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and ASEAN countries by establishing a dedicated sales and engineering group tasked with selling and installing solutions for cross-border bank payments. People feel comfortable with its name and the technology behind Ripple, said Trevor Kaverko, CEO of Polymath, in an interview with Raposa. A lot of people are beginning to realize how big of an opportunity there is between business and the blockchain, and that's making Ripple the early winner here. Number 4. XRP functionality and consumer grasp. Many coins right now are bought and traded based on pure speculation. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. It's how many young altcoins with great ideas will flesh out their networks before they're fully operational. But it also means that those currencies are backed almost exclusively by ideas and public belief in those ideas, which is a dangerous position to be in when something like yesterday's drop comes into play. Positioned as a multi-pronged solution for major financial institutions, which aren't going away anytime soon, Ripple is actually a useful product to its customers now, regardless of what it will or will not build in the future. And these customers happen to be some of the biggest financial institutions in the world. And its speed, 4-second transactions, and low fees also make it appealing to general consumers. This is also supported by how Ripple itself functions. XRP is a pre-mined coin, which has drawn criticism for going against the ethos of decentralization and the lack of mining opportunities that creates. Moreover, Ripple retains a full 20% of the total supply of XRP. While this too has upset some in the crypto community, it also somewhat immunizes it to the volatility we see in other coins. As Techno Raji explains in an article written for Oracle Times last month, due to this limited number of XRP coins, the currency may continue to flourish, or at least hold its ground in the future if crypto prices fall. For better or worse, higher supply means lower volatility, and more centralization means more moderation of the market. So, will the current growth rate last? Current market trends indicate that we've touched the nearest resistance barrier after $1, $1.25. According to Sam Borgi on Hacked, the next major resistance barrier is $1.50. Taking the past few weeks as an example, we might expect to see a few weeks of trading in the $1.25 to $1.35 range to solidify the base before another big jump toward the $1.50 mark. Of course, that's leaving out a sudden event such as a Coinbase announcement or a crypto market correction. On the other hand, in the bear case for XRP Bitcoin Futures Edition, Kyle Samani makes the case for a less optimistic view, questioning the long-term validity of XRP's use cases against a more established coin like Bitcoin, while acknowledging that XRP still might have a substantial amount of growth left. We maintain our position. In the long run, we're bearish on XRP. We simply don't see any series of events that can occur that would cause financial institutions to voluntarily adopt XRP over the global reserve. Having said that, given the state of crypto markets today, XRP could keep pumping. There's really not a good objective valuation model for XRP given the intrinsic velocity problem that it faces. So it could 5 times before our thesis is reflected in XRP price movements. Whatever ends up being the case, Ripple has proven itself as one of the most fascinating cryptocurrencies to watch. Stay tuned to Crypto Watch for up-to-date coverage of Bitcoin, Ripple, and other altcoins. Ripple's great opportunity. The alternative crypto investment to Bitcoin and Ether. Ripple is the third most valuable cryptocurrency, and it has a lot of variation from Bitcoin, Ether, and Bitcoin Cash above it. Ripple has shown how it can disrupt wiring and financial settlements in less time and a fraction of the price. While the other coins' price falls on regulation and adoption news, Ripple is finding enterprise partners, finding ways to utilize its disruptive technology. At its use case increase, it will separate from consumer-facing coins and see an increase in price. Bitcoin and Ether have dominated headlines in the crypto world for much of 2017, except for the occasional article about smaller coins with insane value returns. It's right for these two to share the spotlight. Along with Bitcoin Cash, the Bitcoin spin-off that's now number 3 in total market capitalization among all cryptocurrencies and assets. Since together, Bitcoin and Ether make up nearly 70% of the total market. Both, of course, have also had staggering growth in 2017. But there's evidence to suggest that both have hit their relative near-term ceiling. And as new investors flock to crypto, new coins will be looked at to be the next big risers. Ripple and Dash, 2 coins also in the top 10 in total market capitalization, may just be those next coins. The scenario is not that hard to imagine. If Bitcoin catches on as a form of worldwide value transfer, paper money, or as a backup to wealth, like gold or silver, blockchain technology-based coins can start to fill in other gaps. And that's where a coin like Ripple fills in, ready to play its part in its own individual niche. The best part, though? Ripple can succeed with or without Bitcoin and Ether. It can succeed without mining technology or any changes in that, and it has a slew of big names behind it already. Ripple currently has 10% of the market cap of Bitcoin, but could be the first crypto coin used by big business since it seeks to disrupt a current financial service, money transfers and settlements, while Ether seeks to create a new one, smart contracts. Ripple is meant for the niche of transactional fees and money/wealth transfer. As this site states, the goal of Ripple is to be a global settlement network, a platform to allow anyone to transfer money in any currency to any currency in a matter of seconds. This is an ambitious goal meant to eliminate the use of older systems like Western Union, New York Stock Exchange, WU, or SWIFT. It's also already been picked up by dozens of financial institutions and banks who see its ability to transfer money at a low cost as a competitive advantage, and an enormous advantage as more things turn toward the blockchain. Lastly, unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin, there is no mining associated with Ripple. For some, this may not matter much, and does not always dictate price. But changes in mining can and have had impacts on the price of all three coins valued above Ripple. Ripple is different than any other cryptocurrencies because all the 100 billion XRP that it's possible to use on the platform already exist. While they're not all on the market, a few are released into the market every month to avoid flooding. There is no use mining as there is nothing of value to be added, unlike in more traditional cryptocurrencies. Partners see huge opportunity. The coin would be used to replace slow and costly transaction fees between banks/countries with both real-time transaction settlement and low fees. The average exchange takes 3.5 seconds on the Ripple network today, with a current average transaction fee less than an American penny. On a dominant path to being the standard cryptocurrency-based foreign exchange network, XRP is a fundamentally different token, unlike Bitcoin or Ether. Lastly, there are already big-named backers for Ripple. Google was one of its investors in 2015. The next year saw investments from the likes of Andreessen Horowitz and other VCs as it raised $55 million, and it did not take the ICO route that other coins have taken, positing it more as a traditional business and not on whim to the change in price of those investing with Bitcoin or Ether. More positive outlook comes from this site, which explains the painful process of shipping cash home involves two main pain points. Firstly, a typical remittance transaction costs $5. Secondly, this transfer needs to be planned in advance, since it will take a lengthy 2 to 4 days to reach its destination, with many hiccups possible by the multiple third parties in between. Ripple aims to change that, with both real-time transaction settlement and low fees. The average exchange takes 3.5 seconds on the Ripple network today, with a current average transaction fee less than an American penny. Is it overvalued already? The question now is if Ripple is overvalued at its current price or not. We think it's still undervalued. Ripple has already started to be explored by over 90 banks, but has not been put into the kind of use case that would see its XRP tokens being used in these transactions. Most partners seem to be in the exploratory phase of how Ripple can revolutionize transferring money, and utilization will drive value higher in this case. Moreover, Ripple won't need to rely on Bitcoin or another coin's penetration into regular markets to be successful. Banks can begin deploying the technology on their own, massively reducing their own costs and utilizing XRP as an exchange token to make these transfers happen. Consumer penetration will happen once a bank or service can offer the monetary transfer at a low cost, displacing the long and arduous processing of wiring. As banks continue to utilize blockchain technologies, Ripple is an early opportunity for them to use this disruptive force without needing to get past either governmental regulation, since it's not seeking to replace the actual money transferred, and consumer confusion on how to enter and how to use, as some other coins will face. And as Ripple remains an enterprise solution, its adoption, when it comes, will be swift and sudden. It will not present banks with the need to change drastically the way Bitcoin would, but rather to adopt. Said another way, it seeks to change the way we send money, not burn it down. We see Ripple going up 2 to 3 times in the next 6 to 9 months as banks will continue to sign on as partners and technological upgrades will allow them to start marketing their deployment of Ripple and XRP usage. And since we also see this being swift, we recommend keeping a watch on XRP price and any large movement upward to be a sign of a major breakthrough on the enterprise side. This could mean that the rest of the banking world is ready to follow, meaning significant gains as Ripple takes its place on the stage of world financial technology. The Ripple coin and why its value has increased so rapidly. With a 35,000% increase in value in 2017 and a market cap of over $118 billion, Ripple has become a much debated topic among analysts and investors alike. But what is Ripple? Is it like other cryptocurrencies? Why has it been on fire lately? Continue listening to get answers to these questions. Number 1. What is Ripple? Ripple is a payment solutions company founded by Chris Larsen and Jed McCaleb. Their Ripple Transaction Protocol, RTXP, contains the cryptocurrency XRP. Ripple claims to offer faster, reliable, and affordable transaction solutions for financial institutions. The company has created 100 billion XRPs, and it currently holds 61% of the coins. The current plan is to release 1 billion coins a month. Number 2. Differences between Ripple and Bitcoin. Both Bitcoin and Ripple are cryptocurrencies that use blockchain technology. But there is a fundamental difference between the two. Unlike Bitcoin, Ripple cannot be mined. The currency is not set up as a mineable currency, and its use is fixed to the network. Both Bitcoin and Ripple use validating nodes for validating ledgers. Bitcoin has about 10,000 trusted nodes, while Ripple has only 5. However, the company plans to add 11 more over the next 18 months. The 5 validating nodes are controlled by Ripple. XRP has received criticism for the absence of independently trusted validators. The XRP ledger is available to all, so anyone can download it and become a validator. Many companies run their own nodes on the Ripple network. Number 3. Reasons for recent price hike of Ripple. The recent price hike of XRP has a lot to do with the currency's expected use by financial institutions and investments by believe-the-hype investors. Ripple has been successful in gaining banks as customers for its other products. Ripple's Xcurrent is preferred by financial institutions because it offers real-time communication and quick corrections, thus reducing delays in bank transactions. The company plans on introducing a new product, XRapid, that incorporates XRP. They see the new product as an opportunity to get banks to use XRP. Investors see the potential of the currency as a financial vehicle used by banks worldwide. Ripple, or more precisely XRP, is a rising cryptocurrency. It's different from the leading digital currency Bitcoin because its supply is controlled by the founding company. Ripple is banking on banks adopting it in the future. One can speculate that the recent increase in Ripple's value will fuel more debates about its pros and cons. Ripple is making waves. The cryptocurrency has burst onto the scene at the start of this year with a surging value that initially pushed Ethereum aside to grab the title of second largest token at some point. There's a number of key differences between Bitcoin and Ripple. The former was first outlined back in 2008, and following a big run at the end of last year and peaked at a value of about $20,000 per token. Ripple, founded in 2012, has seen big interest from businesses, including 3 Japanese credit card companies. It peaked at a deceptively low value of $3.12 per token. Here are some of the key differences between the two cryptocurrencies and what you need to know most. Decentralization. Bitcoin and Ripple have very different governance and ownership structures. Bitcoin is highly decentralized and open source, owned by a community that agrees on changes. This can make upgrades tough. Developers can use soft forks to avoid irreversible splits, which are backwards compatible changes to the system's use that allows nodes to opt in and out of the changes, avoiding breaks in the network. However, at least 51% of Bitcoin mining power needs to support the change to avoid an irreversible hard fork. Ripple is owned by a private company, and its internal ledger is a more closed affair. The company's consensus-seeking approach can allow for faster upgrades. With the amendment system, developers seek consensus before making changes to the network. In most cases, if an amendment receives 80% support for 2 weeks, it will come into effect and all future ledgers must support it. This enables a democratized approach to development that allows for changes while avoiding irreversible splits. End goals. Bitcoin and Ripple have conflicting approaches to cryptocurrency. Where Bitcoin's decentralized approach means anyone can use it for whatever they feel like, Ripple is marketing its cryptocurrency as an asset transfer solution for major calculations. The company touts more than 100 customers, with more than 75 of those clients deploying Ripple commercially. Size. Bitcoin is huge. At the time of writing, the total valuation of all Bitcoins in circulation is at $276 billion, while Ripple is at $120 billion. These two rest at the top of the cryptocurrency pile, while the total market is valued at $769 billion. This may seem confusing, considering the discrepancy in the price of a single token. The important thing to bear in mind, though, is that there are 38 billion XRP tokens in the world, and just 16 million Bitcoins. This means that each Bitcoin is more valuable, but the entire market isn't too far off Ripple's valuation. Coins in reserve. The creators of both cryptocurrencies hold a number of tokens in reserve. In the case of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, a pseudonym for the coin's anonymous creator, reportedly holds 980,000 of the total possible 21 million Bitcoins that will ever exist. Sergio Lerner, head of cryptocurrency firm RSK.co, claimed in 2013 that these untouched Bitcoins almost certainly belong to Nakamoto, as the founder would have complete confidence in his creation. A similar case exists with Ripple. The company holds around 62% of all the XRP supply, which is capped at 100 billion. Transaction times and fees. Bitcoin has come under fire for its transaction times and fees. Users can pay miner to prioritize their transaction. As a result, average fees have risen to $27, while each transaction takes on average 70 minutes to clear. Ripple requires a minimum transaction cost to avoid overloading the network. At the time of writing, this is 0.00001 XRP, or a fraction of a cent. To pay the fee, the network destroys the XRP rather than paying it to anyone in particular, which in turn increases the value of the remaining XRP. Ripple transactions can settle in as little as 4 seconds, thanks to what's known as off-ledger transactions. Essentially, a provider batch processes a number of transactions before putting them on the blockchain, maintaining the security features of cryptocurrency while avoiding the hassle of logging each transaction at a time. A similar solution for Bitcoin, the Lightning Network, is under development. Whether it's enough to turn things around for Bitcoin and potentially encourage the same business adoption as Ripple remains to be seen. Where can I use Ripple? XRP is still a long way from being as widely accepted as coins such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. It was never the goal to use Ripple as a payment method. Instead, the aim has always been to use XRP to grease the wheels in order to make fiat money transfers easier, faster, and more secure. That said, there are quite a few merchants that accept Ripple, including hosting providers and vaping product merchants. A full list can be found on the XRP forum. How do I invest in Ripple? Rarely has a coin been considered so ripe for purchase as Ripple is in September 2017. Selling at 0.0218 cents per XRP on April 1, 2017, the coin skyrocketed to 0.3973 cents per XRP in no more than 47 days. The price has since settled down a bit as speculators decide whether they want to invest in the coin or not, and banks shuffle funds around and investigate the platform. With more bank involvement will come greater growth. If you have no problem with the way Ripple has handled the initial XRP influx, and if you think more banks will accept Ripple as the de facto money transfer platform, then there may never be a better time to get in on Ripple than 2017. Using Ripple to transfer money. Transferring money with Ripple works like any other cryptocurrency. Number 1. Have some XRP available in your wallet. XRP wallets are the same as, for example, Bitcoin wallets. Buy XRP on an exchange and then transfer them to your wallet. Number 2. Scan or enter the recipient's address. Whether they provide you with a hashed wallet address or a QR code, just follow the simple instructions on your wallet of choice, and you'll be done in no time. Number 3. Enter the amount and send. The transaction should be verified in a few seconds, and you're done. Making money with Ripple. Unless you're a bank willing to invest into the Ripple platform, and because there is no mining allowed on Ripple, there are only 2 major ways to make money from it. Get paid in Ripple. Adopting XRP will not only put you in a position where you can see returns on money that's sitting in your wallet, but you will also be helping the currency gain legitimacy and wider use. Being this early and this young, Ripple will benefit from any merchant accepting the currency. When it grows, everyone enjoys the fruits of their investment. Invest in Ripple. While the Ripple platform might not be easily accessible for investors, anyone can buy XRP and wait. The currency is growing, and it is still in its infant stage. As more and more merchants and banks adopt the platform, the price will probably increase, the currency will grow, and the value of every wallet will grow with it. What to watch out for? As much as some people love Ripple and see it as the next generation of cryptocurrencies, there are also some who have concerns over privacy and centralization. Privacy concerns. Cryptocurrency has always been considered the poster child of privacy and anonymity. Ripple's decision to market their platform exclusively to banks has been a cause of concern for some users who worry about Big Brother keeping an eye on their transactions. Centralization. Ripple's platform is extremely centralized, whereas most cryptocurrencies aim to be as decentralized as possible. The reason for this is that Ripple owns the vast majority of the coins available on the platform, while currencies like Bitcoin allow anyone to mine and acquire coins. The move to lock coins inside smart contracts was a step in the right direction to fix this issue. But every time the coins are released, they first go to Ripple to do with them as it pleases. What's next for Ripple? The company behind Ripple plans, as a priority, to improve the lack of decentralization from which the platform is currently suffering. By adding more trusted validator nodes, the company plans to shake off the image that it's just another central bank controlling the Ripple currency. With that said, the future of Ripple depends entirely on the adoption of the platform by banks, and that's where the focus of the people behind Ripple inevitably needs to be. As more banks join the network, the price of XRP will probably skyrocket, driving more people to the coin and enticing banks to join the platform. Without banks, the platform would likely die, and so will the investors attempting to push it forward. Luckily, that doesn't seem to be the future of this currency. This has been Ripple Coin, XRP and Cryptocurrency In-Depth Analysis, written by Giles Reeves, narrated by Sherry Gardner, copyright 2018 by Vincent Newt, production copyright 2018 by Vincent E. Newt.